Hello everyone, this is Sunniva.
And this is Johannes.
And you are watching Board Gaming Ramblings.
And today we are taking a look at Lord of the Rings Duel for Middle-earth and Seven Wonders Duel with the expansions.
Yes.
This is going to be a review of Lord of the Rings Duel for Middle-earth and also a comparison with this one, which is called Seven Wonders Duel, which is an older game and this is a newer game. Watch this video to find out which of them is also a game. Both of them are games, both of them are good. I'm going to say that already. We're going to compare them. And I'm going to say I have not decided which one I like the best so far.
No, me neither.
So this is not going to be, we don't going to have a conclusion. We're not going to say like buy this one. But hopefully maybe throughout this we will have a better feeling as well. And we will give you the feelings that we have because that's what we do.
Yes.
Are you ready?
Yeah.
Overview time. Seven Wonders Duel is a game. I'm just going to say, before we start, this part right here is from Seven Wonders Duel. The rest of the components are from the new game. The game is a drafting game. It's going to be a two-player only game. You're going to draft cards. There's going to be cards laid out, some face down, some face up. Only the cards with non-cards on top of them are going to be available to draft. And if there is a price on the card, like said here, there's 3 of this symbol, I have to have those 3 symbols on cards in front of me, or I have to pay coins for every symbol that I'm missing. And then I'm going to take the card. Some cards are going to let me move on this track, depending on if I am the Fellowship. I'm going to try to get the Ring to Mordor. If I am the not Fellowship theme,
that's cool.
Yes, I'm going to try to take the ring and be the winner. So you're going to place dudes on a map, move them around, try to have control of all different areas. You'll also try to get resources and try to get alliances to get special abilities, and also that's a way to win the game. There's different ways to win the game. We're going to talk more about them later. But that is basically what you're going to do. You're going to draft the card. You're going to continue doing that till there's no more cards.
Because when you draft this,
Yes.
this will be revealed, and now there's new cards available to draft.
That is correct. The only other thing you can do on your turn is to buy a landmark. You're going to need all the different resources or pay coins. And then you're going to place a fort in a specific place. Like this one, you have to place a fort over here and you will get some other bonuses. Other than that, there's none other actions you can take. When there's no cards left, you're going to place the cards again from the second deck. This is from the second deck of the game. In a different formation, then you're going to do that 3 times. And after that, if nobody has won, there is kind of like a way to win at the end. But sometimes also people will win during the game. And that is what you do in this game.
And this is kind of a re-implementation of the original Seven Wonders Duel, and they've also taken some elements from the expansions that we will explain. First of all, I have to say that I love the Vincent de Trade artwork in this game. It's amazing. He does an amazing job as always. It's also worth noting, as you saw in the beginning, it's a little bigger box, but it's still kind of neat.
I have to say, before we go into it, do we like Seven Wonders Duel?
Yes, we do.
We still have it.
Yeah, it's like one of my favorite two-player only games. Like, especially from before we got all the trick takers that we've just
and
acquired.
before we and also when we have played this a lot.
Yes.
So this is like from the time when we played games like many times. I just thought that was important to know before we go into it. Let's start about talking about the drafting. Is there any changes there?
The drafting is almost identical, and how you pay the cards, either you have a card with a symbol that you acquired before that gets you this card for free, or you pay these resources that you have. One thing that's different from the original game is that the payment for the resources that you are missing is cheaper in this game.
Way cheaper.
You pay 1 for each missing symbol instead of 2 as a base cost, and then per the opponent has. But you have, in general, less money in rotation in this game than in the original.
Yeah, in Seven Wonders Duel, there's 1 coin, 3 coins, and 6 coins, like in Seven Wonders. Here is only 1 coin.
Yes.
One big change to the game is that there's no wonders in the game, because this isn't Lord of the Rings Duel for Wonders of Middle-earth.
That's true.
There's no more wonders, which means you're not drafting wonders. You don't have like a... In Seven Wonders Duel, you're going to have like, oh, I have these good wonders, I'm going to try to get those out before you get the wonders out. And getting those special abilities, which are a big part of that game, that's just gone. Other than that, what they have done, taken the game, win the expansions, put it in Blender, and then basically took off like half of it.
Yeah.
Which was just like, this is stuff we don't need. And added just like the other things. I don't know why you would put it in a blender to do that, but maybe like put it like some kind of kitchen appliance you would put it in to get just the good stuff out.
Yeah, they absolutely streamlined the game, and you can see that in the rules as well.
Oh, yeah.
The rules are much shorter in this game than in the original Seven Wonders Duel. How many pages is the old one? There's
like
a lot of
20
symbols.
pages,
though.
but it has all the symbols and
Yes.
all of the like the list of cards that doesn't happen in. This is the Norwegian rule book, but other than that, I think it's the same, and it's 8 pages.
Yes.
Which is like 6 pages.
Yeah, and I'll also notice the big difference in how streamlined it was when I tried reading both of them.
Yes.
Well, you can see some of the implementation being a little different in this game. So, for example, these progress tokens that you will get when you have 2 green cards with the same symbol, and then in the original game, you will get one of these available that can be like one-time use or an ongoing ability. But in the new game, you will choose or draw 2 of these, and then you will have something to choose from. And these can also be ongoing abilities or one-time use.
I will say that in this category of the game, I like the old one better. Because drawing this at the beginning, you kind of got like a strategy to go for.
Yeah.
Because you would pick them randomly, get 5 of them, and you go, okay, in this game, we're going to try to race for this. Here it's basically, when you know the game very well, you could basically, when somebody has taken one, you know what the other 2 tiles are, so you might be like, oh, I want to go for that then.
Yes.
And you also might want to try to get one, but you don't know if you're going to get it. So I think this is more exciting with this. Again, which we're going to come to, this is simpler. You don't have to plan. You're just like, oh, you get 2 of them, I got something good.
Yeah.
It's not like getting that race feeling that you get in Seven Wonders Duel.
That's true.
So I will say that for that, I like this better. How do you feel about those?
I agree. I think there's positives and negatives with both, but I agree. I definitely have this race feeling of I need that symbol for my plan to work out. I don't have that in this, but the abilities are always good.
Yes.
They feel really good no matter which stack you draw from.
We liked Seven Wonder Duel when we played it, but when we got the expansion Pantheon, we really liked it. Agora, not so much. We're going to talk more about the differences there later. But Pantheon added the possibility of doing another action than just taking the card. From the second era, there would be these cards that basically got drafted during the first round. When you got a Pantheon token, you would draw 2 of them and choose which. So you could have some agency into what was going to be in the game and choose things that was probably going to be good for you and bad for the other player. So that if the other player wanted to take it from you, they would have to pay more money because you would place them here depending on the order they were taken. So here instead you have the landmarks, which adds the most important part of it, which lets you do another action and just take it. Because in Seven Wonders Duel, without the expansion, you would get spaces or places where it was basically predetermined who would get which card.
Yes.
So here you can mix that up in a good way, and that they have here as well. These feel kind of like okay.
Yeah, like the Pantheon cards are very much variability.
Yeah.
What can be available here is almost always the same because they are all tied to each of these regions.
Yeah.
And they all do something on the map, set out a fort or an unit, and move or do a little extra bonus thing.
Yeah. So the bonuses are good. Like you could get another token, you could get her card for free, you could get movement on the track.
That's good.
But it's not. It doesn't feel that exciting as the Pantheon cards
I
did
agree.
for me.
Yes.
Again, it's simpler.
Yeah.
It doesn't have that much player agency, and it doesn't have like a planning part to it. It's basically
That's
just
true.
like, oh, that's what is there. That's what's going to be there. And that is that. Let's talk about these are the biggest changes. We're going to talk about the victory conditions, which also going to add to those changes. The victory conditions, there's no points.
No.
So at the end of the game, in Seven Wonders Duel, if nobody won with the science or the military in the base game, then you would count points on the blue cards in the game. Here, the blue cards doesn't have points.
No.
They move you on this track, which is one of the ways to win the game.
Yes, so one of the ways to win the game is for the Fellowship to reach Mordor, like, for example, this.
Like that. Woohoo!
Woohoo! And a way for the Nazgul to win is to do like this, for example.
Woohoo! And this is a lot like this.
Yes.
The only change is that this is like a push and pull.
Yeah.
This goes back and forth. this will always go forward.
Yeah.
And there will never be like less distance. You can never be in a position.
You can't move away from the Nazgul.
No, but it's basically the same thing.
Yeah, it is.
It feels like the same. In this one as well, there was some like you will take some coins from the other player, but since the coins are more tight in this game, that's not there.
So the blue cards kind of have the function of what the red cards did before.
The science victory in Seven Wonders Duel is have 6 symbols of the 7 symbols. That is exactly the same here.
Yes,
No
that's
change.
the green cards.
It's the same. It's the green cards having those symbols. That is exactly the same. The last way to win, which is also the tiebreaker, is the map. And this is kind of the same as in Agora, where you would place senators into this space.
Yes, and this is basically area majority. So you want units or forts in all of the regions. If I would, for example, you use the red cards to place units in the regions. For example, if I got this card here, I could place a unit in, okay, let's do that you took it, and I can place it here, then both of them will go away.
If you moved it, yeah. Well, and when you place something, you would then just
take it from the supply.
Yeah, you would take away things before you moved it because there can only be one of each player. And I have to say, like Agora was never something we liked. It was added a bit too much to the game. This is the part of like the implementation I like the best. I like better than in the original game because it's just like simpler. It's cleaner, and you have like this is more interesting than just like a track. And you have like a little bit of movement, you have like the permanent with the fortresses, and all of that I enjoy more. And this is also the tiebreaker at the end. So if nobody has won with one of the 3 ways to win, the player who has the most pieces out there will win.
Yes, and as in Seven Wonders Duel, this is all about balance. So you always want to try to go for the thing that you can win, but you have to be careful. For example, one time I was collecting these green cards, it was going smoothly. Suddenly you were controlling all the map and you won.
That is true. So, who do you think this is for?
I think this is a, like, if you're a Lord of the Rings fan, this is for you.
Easy choice.
But also if you are a newer gamer to the hobby and you're looking for a 2-player game, this has, like, streamlined rules. So I think this has, like, the best from the expansion without having so much stuff.
I agree with you. I think that all of these things, basically, I feel if you want a lighter experience and a more thematic experience, go for this. If you like more of the variability, I will say, and especially with the expansion and the player agency, I would say Seven Wonder Duel without the expansions is worse than this.
Yes.
Like so for me, 100%. But when you add this, you will get more of a player agency, more strategic planning than in Seven Wonders, not Seven Wonders. Lord of the Rings, Duel for Middle-earth. So depending on that, it might be like your choice. But I'm almost into final thoughts, so I think we should do some final thoughts. Do you want to begin or should I begin?
You can begin.
Do I get to begin?
Mix it up.
Oh, wow. I will begin this time. I really like both games. I like this. I think Lord of the Rings Duel for Middle-earth is a great game. I think that it is it's a very good implementation. It feels like the same game, but with enough changes to make it also not feel exactly like the same game. It's not like, I'm not gonna see a lot of people having both games in their collection. It's not one where like, oh, but no, I want to play this version. No, if you have only Seven Wonders Duel without the expansions, I would always choose this. When you add Pantheon, Agora I didn't like, so I would not play with that. But all in all, I think it's a great game. I think that it's a very good two-player game. This also is one of the better two-player experiences out there. For me, I am gonna give it an 8. Depending on what you feel that hopefully this video gave you a feeling if you think you will like this better than this. But for me, it's an 8.
I'm gonna rate it an 8 as well, and for the same reasons as you did. As you mentioned, if you compare the base games with each other, I think absolutely Duel for Middle-earth is the stronger because it implements the different parts of the expansion. But as I said, if you are like a Eurogamer to the core and want that like depth then I would go for the original game with the especially the Pantheon expansion that we really enjoyed.
Absolutely. That's gonna be the end. If you are here, subscribe because you can do it and it makes us happy and not sad. Thank you so much for watching. I'm Johannes.
I'm Cinema.
And you've been watching Board Gaming Ramblings, and bye-bye.